What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're talking about Blizaar the Howler, which is the new fusion for Christmas. Should we go for him? Should we not? I'm going to give you a couple of perspectives because I've got a level 99 endgame account and my opinion for that account is going to be different to this account that we're running now, which is under a month old. Now obviously the brand new account, we're probably not strong enough to get this done, but even let's say we were a few months into the future, I'm going to give you the perspective of kind of like a early to mid game player, so somebody who can get some of the fusions done, maybe you're only capable of doing every other one. So we're going to talk about his kit, where he's useful, whether we should get him. We're going to talk about the epic as well that is available, because to a newer player that's probably much more interesting and useful. Before we do get going though guys, what's your favourite Christmas movie? I haven't watched Home Alone yet, which is shocking. It is the 14th of December. I feel pretty bad. I would also really like to watch Die Hard, so let me know, what is your favourite Christmas movie?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Right, should you fuse this guy? Well, always with Raid Shadow Legends, the answer always is depends, and you need to be careful. You need to be careful listening to people's advice, because way back when I used to watch Hell Hades and Ash when I played the game about 3 maybe 4 years ago, it was given wisdom that we skipped Rotus. He was not going to be good, and that obviously backfired spectacularly. Now I don't think this guy is going to be anywhere near as impactful, but he potentially is going to be a useful champion to you. Legendary, defense based, he's Spirit Affinity, really nice HP 20k, really nice defense 1400, decent speed 102, triple hit 40%, bucks up to 50% chance of freeze on his A1. We've got an A2 that removes a bunch of stuff from all allies, so petrification, stun, sleep, fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, increased defense on everybody and ally protect. And then we've got an AoE freeze, 75% chance, bucks up to 100, and we'll also do turn meter decrease. All these moves are based on defense, the two that do damage. He also has a passive. Whenever someone tries to freeze him, he instantly says no way, chucks it back and freezes that person. When he is killed, he revives himself with 30% HP, 30% turn meter, and then pops a revive on death on himself again. So if he gets put back down, he pops back up, and this goes down to 3 turn cooldown, so that could make him quite annoying to deal with. Now his kit is good. I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. You've got triple hit and freeze, so that's going to be good for Fire Knight, going to be good for Fire Knight hard. We've got AoE freeze, which is potentially useful in Bommel. The fact that he picks himself up when he is dead and puts revive on death. Again, potentially there's something you can do with Bommel. He's actually the strong affinity for red Bommel as well, so there's something potentially in there if, let's say, you haven't built a champion who can solo it, or maybe he'd potentially give you a faster run. Hard to say. Yeah, I think his kit's solid. He's not an amazing legendary. You know, it's not like he's going to be game breaking or game changing. Potentially Tormund counter. We know there's going to be a lot of Tormunds coming into the game. Tormund does a lot of freezing, so to basically say to Tormund, buddy, you're going to get frozen yourself, that, you know, is potentially interesting. For Doom Tower, he's going to help you out. AoE freeze is quite decent in there. Obviously enemies take less damage from hits when they're under freeze, but it is a pretty good crowd control mechanic. 4 turn cooldown if you book it, but it is certain, so you know it's decent. He's also got the 50% triple hit at random, kind of like Shiramani does on the A1. So again, you know, a fairly useful move. And at Faction Wars, I guess if you haven't got Faction Wars done for Ogryn tribes, he's probably going to help you because he's got the ally protect, which is going to be very important, and increased defense. So ultimately it becomes a question of, can you get fusions done? And if you can get fusions done, do you need an Ogryn or do you fancy this guy? And that's basically it. Now, if you're not at that point and you're more mid-game or early game, and as I said earlier, you can maybe only do every other fusion or 1 in 3, something like that, this guy's a definite hard pass. I don't think he is amazing, and like I've seen like people suggest, well, he's going to be decent for the new content, which I haven't unlocked as of yet. on this account, Curse City. Have unlocked it, of course, on the main account. Lots of fun, really like it. The puzzle mode of being restricted to certain factions and affinities is good. It's fun. The way you can move through the map and pick your own stuff is really cool. If you're just getting in for here, it's a big investment over Christmas. Christmas is full of generally family time, parties, friends, Christmas movies, getting drunk, snacks, partying. So like the thought of actually grinding out a fusion at this time of year is not amazing. So I think even if this account, the new one that we've got at the moment, was further down the line, I probably would still skip him, because I just think the time of year that this is, the amount of events we've got, and make it difficult. On my main, I probably will try and go for him, but the priority, of course, will be getting Tormin. I don't have Tormin because that was when I first started playing the game. Missed that fusion, and I really wish I'd got it done, because Tormin was absolutely clutch in Arena for Age. I hated facing him for a long time. But on this account, we do need to get, I think, 100 fragments for the Skinwalker epic. Again, pretty mid-tier epic in my opinion. Not amazing at all, but worth picking up. Is he a Skinwalker? Yes, Bovos. Going blind, couldn't see him. Epic support champion, Spirit Affinity based. Nice HP at just under 20k, so 19k, which is good. Defense 1100, solid. Speed 98, a little on the slow side. He has got the big version of decreased speed, which is potentially handy. Single turn attack, 50%, single target decreased speed. This obviously can come in handy in certain situations. It's got an AoE, bucks down to a 3-turn cooldown, decreased crit rate and decreased crit damage on everybody for 2 turns. Again, could be a decent move in Doom Tower or any wave-based content to make it so that your team is a bit tankier, they can take some more damage. I mean, like, theoretically, in a tag arena defense team, but your chances of getting this off and landed before the enemy gets a go is pretty slim, so I'd say not a great move. And then we've got remove 1 random debuff from all allies, so a cleanse. It is everybody, but it is just the 1 debuff. 4-turn cooldown, increased crit rate and crit damage on everybody for 2 turns. So again, there's something potentially you could do with Arena. You'd use him again in tag. You could have him basically stacking up his increased crit rate, increased crit damage, build your nuke with 70% crit rate, and you'll be able to get 30% more crit damage plus all the beneficial stats. So a couple of niche uses for him. He also heals an ally by 10% of their max HP when they're hit with a critical hit. So again, kind of handy. Doom Tower if you're getting crit. Faction wars, wave-based content, this will activate sometimes, and it will be handy. It's like a passive kind of heal effect. You don't need to do anything. Again, I'd say he's pretty mid-tier. Like, for faction wars, he's going to be decent. He offers absolutely no control at all. He does help you out with healing. He does help you out with more damage. He does help you take less damage. So he's just a support, but he just doesn't really do anything spectacularly well. You know, no control. So yeah, I mean, if we got him on this account, let's just show you the roster just so you can get an idea of where we are in the game. If you haven't been following along, we have got a bunch of epics. So he would not be in the queue above like 5 or 6 of these champions comfortably. So I think you get him for faction wars, you keep him at 40, you maybe take him to 50, but it depends who you pull out of that particular faction as to whether you want to do him up. And if you're going to use him in arena for like the increased crit rate and crit damage, you can leave him at 40. You just need to speed tune him correctly. Skinwalkers is pretty dismal in terms of epic champions. There's not many. It doesn't help that 4 of them are void. So we've got Scabrius, but getting some more epic. Look, eventually they'll come in the game. Of course they will. But you might be a little stuck. There are some really nice rares in the faction though. Turlog, Gnarlhorn, Greybeard, Fleshmonger, they're all quite decent. Even a Lamaba is a decent little champion. Yeah, so for that reason, I think even though you can get by with the rares, I'm not entirely convinced you'd be 60ing this guy ever. But on an early account mid-game, yeah, sure, pick up a copy of him. If you're not going for the fusion, you may as well get yourself done like on the champion training, because training champions is always useful. You can probably get the classic arenas done. I'd sack off the artifact enhancements. You really, silver is tight in the game unless you're really crunching your way through Spider and got a developed account. Silver's always tight, so if you can ever skip a fusion, you're going to save yourself like 60 million silver. You're going to save yourself a bunch of energy. So all in all, I'd say this is a pretty meh event, pretty meh fusion. The champion is usable, potentially in a few areas, but not amazing. The epic is pretty meh as well. Time of year when it is, we've got the tournament event on. So overall, I think you just need to be a little careful with this guy. It's going to, worst thing in the world is you mess up a couple of things at Christmas and that's it. Tough. You're unable to fuse or fragment summon your 4 epics and then you can't fuse them. But I will try and pick him up because at the end of the day, he'll come in handy, I'm sure, at some point. Again, you never know what soul stones you're going to pull for your awakened champions, and you might get soul stones for him and the awakening blessings, and then again his value might surge in your adventures into the Sintranos city, cursed city, because you're going to be stuck with who you can take who's awakened. So go for it if you can, but don't feel bad about missing out. Time of year, and I don't think he's that amazing, and neither is the epic. So go for Tormund. Tormund is way better. That's been the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I've been Filthy Casual. Take it easy. Peace.